In October of 2020, DroneU released a series of tweets aimed at Skydio HQ, stating that the manufacturer misrepresented the performance of the Skydio 2, claiming that the autonomy was dangerous, stating that it violated certain FAA guidelines. Several tweets aimed at the FAA and Skydio HQ came under fire by myself, in which I was promptly blocked when I accused them of taking money from DJI. Dickheads. But what happened in just 1 year's time? Did the Skydio 2 become more dangerous? Or is Paul at DroneU sniffing paint? Let's take a deeper dive into this. Let's get started. Alrighty, what's good guys? Ken here, you're watching OriginaldoBo, and today I posed the question, is the Skydio 2 safe? And the short answer to that is, yes, it is. It is probably one of the safest drones on the market today. Now, I know a lot of you are probably still waiting to get your Skydio 2. Obviously, COVID hasn't made things easy. 1 year later, they are still backfilling orders that were placed back last November, which is pretty crazy to think that some people have literally waited 365 days to fly this autonomous machine. Pretty incredible. But something that's caught my attention more recently is some stupid tweets from Paul at DroneU. And I know it's Paul tweeting this, even though he doesn't tag him, because nobody could be this stupid. This guy just kills me. But he says recently, how will they stop a flyaway with the Skydio 2? Due to legal questioning and having had multiple responses from lawmakers, we are giving away our Skydio 2s. So he has multiple Skydio 2s apparently. Paul, you're giving away your Skydio 2 because you want to promote a shitty class that you're putting on. You have your 107 class, you want people to go to the website, you're giving away, what is it, like 20 different classes? I saw this tweet, an article from Drone XL recently. It's really apparent that you and Hi found Drone XL together. It's no big secret at this point. So give it up. Cat's out of the bag. Nobody wants your shitty class. If you want to become a 107 pilot, I highly recommend, though, totally unsponsored, that you go check out Remote Pilot 101, because Jason Chappert does an incredible job. He's an actual pilot, like a real pilot. And the classes are easy to follow along, and you have somebody that understands how to actually use a camera. Have you ever watched the DroneU podcast? It's a complete shit show. The guy can't even compose a decent shot with a real camera. I think he's using a webcam. It looks like he's talking through a potato. It kills me. You make so much money, yet you put very little into your presentation for the audience, which I find incredibly disheartening for anybody who spends money through your whatever it is, your community. But anyways, he is talking about flyaways, and Skydio is like, are you serious? There's literally a red button there on the drone that you just press stop anytime you feel like the drone is out of control. Unlike other drones, like manual drones, the Skydio 2 does have a certain sense of autonomy in play where you're not fully in control entirely the entire time. There's going to be moments where the drone makes the best decisions for you. With that being said, if you are a pilot and you're putting this drone into unsafe circumstances, like flying around traffic, moving objects, people, there is a potential for certain disaster. That's with anything. So best case scenario, put your drone in a good spot. Don't put it in an unsafe situation. But when in doubt, that red button will bail you out essentially. Flyaways aren't really a thing with the Skydio 2 simply because the GPS doesn't function in the same capacity that it does on a manual camera drone. It's not the same way. I've seen multiple camera drones like my DJI Mavic Air 2 one day just flew away and crashed into a wall because I didn't have enough satellites. I've never had that issue with the Skydio. I think Skydio's put enough of safety checks in place to prevent issues like that from happening. It goes on a little bit further. So Skydio responds, I said, glad you asked. A red emergency stop button in the Skydio app or on the Skydio beacon will do the trick. Paul knows this. But the real question is, would you rather have a flyaway with a dumb drone prone to crashing, or a smart drone with the best obstacle avoidance enabled at all times. And this is where Paul goes. According to FAA News, as a Part 107 pilot, he's got a real hard on for 107. We must have the ability to avoid an emergency as 107 pilots are ultimately responsible for our drone. We cannot be ultimately responsible if we do not have ultimate control. Paul, even if you had ultimate control, you would still fly like shit. I've seen your work, and it's an abomination, and I hope to God you don't charge anybody for the shit you put out there. Like, seriously. Such a typical response. So they've been going back and forth. Skydio and DroneU have been trading blows for over 4 months' time. I haven't talked about it, but I want to talk about this today. Also, he goes part 2. The FAA just released video via 51 drones that anyone posting a drone photo to social media, photo or video, is commercial. Then it seems that the vast majority of Skydio users would fall under 107, even if they don't have their 107 license. And then Russ quickly chimed in and said, but that's not true. The representative from the FAA changed his story. And the fact is that no one at the FAA really knows the facts on this issue, whether or not, if you post to social media, whether or not you're fully classified as a 107 pilot. So again, it's very much in a gray area, and it's gonna take until the NPRM is finalized until we'll get a clear, consistent set of rules, unfortunately. That's what I think anyways. The red emergency stop button latency isn't gonna stop the drone from hitting a kid. Anytime I've ever pressed that red button, it's basically stopped in the tracks. But if you're flying around kids, I would question the responsibility of the pilot. It's not up to a drone to be responsible. It's up to us as pilots to be ultimately responsible. Am I correct? So if you're in full control, you have full control of your actions. So before you even start flying, you should know whether or not your surroundings are going to be safe. Am I right? Oh, and it just goes on further. So it says, I think I'd take the best in class obstacle avoidance. Not gonna lie, so would I. And DroneU says, us too, but as a pilot, we want to be able to be in full control. They're really harping on this full control. I'm gonna go with the fact that maybe Paul has issues or something, that he's gotta be in so much control. I don't know how that works for you guys, I don't know. Since the pilot is ultimately responsible, we can only be responsible if we are ultimately in control. Everybody take a shot every time Paul tweets control. Take a shot. At this point, my entire audience is getting their stomachs pumped in the ER. I hate this because he always tags the FAA like somebody there is actually listening. They're probably got him muted, to be quite honest. Skydio then chimes in with the mic drop. This is the ultimate mic drop. Says, pilots lose control of manual drones all the time, Paul. See, they even know who the hell they're talking to. Do a quick search on YouTube, and there are hundreds. I'm sorry, you're actually wrong, Skydio. There are thousands of videos of pilots losing control, including me, with a manual drone that I had control of, or supposed to have control of. It happens. Every Christmas, we see people crash their drones into a tree or destroy a $1,000 Mavic, $1,500 Mavic on Christmas morning. Happens every time. I say again, would you rather have full 360-degree obstacle avoidance in the event you do lose control, or the drone with mediocre obstacle avoidance? It's an interesting battle back and forth, but I'm gonna just give you my opinion on this because having used this drone for a year's time and putting it in interesting predicaments, I gotta say, I've never once felt uncomfortable with the Skydio 2's performance. Never. Even in sketchy situations, the Skydio 2 has never let me down. With that being said, I've never been irresponsible with my flights with that drone, simply because I do know the full extent of that obstacle avoidance, that you are only piloting the drone 70% of the time. That other 30% of the time, the drone is making calculated decisions for you based upon your surroundings. So I'll reiterate, if you put the drone in a successful position to succeed, it will do just that almost 99% of the time. Again, it's still a machine and it is prone to failure, but one thing to remember out of this entire video is the fact that Drones can't break the law. Only a pilot can break FAA guidelines. So you as the pilot have to be aware of that and make sure you're just not doing something stupid. I really don't understand what this hard on is with Skydio, because just 1 year ago, Paul was absolutely singing Skydio's high praises. And when I was at Commercial UAV, I couldn't use the Skydio 2 to film a video because when I got there to the booth, the only other Skydio that they had brought with them was gone. And that was because Drone U was borrowing it to make a video. So my guess is there was some sort of falling out periodically through the year, and now he hates Skydio. It just doesn't make much sense. And to the fact that if you believe that Skydio is going to replace 107 pilots at any one point, you're absolutely mistaken. Autonomy is going to make a 107 job much easier for certain tasks. And if the FAA changes its guidelines on autonomous drones in the future, I think it's going to benefit us as 107 pilots. Anything that's going to make my job easier, I'm all for. I don't understand this whole full control thing. The only thing I'd ever want to have full control over is my FPV quads, because that's me flying manually. So Paul, if you think that flying a GPS drone is you in full control, you obviously don't know how to fucking fly whatsoever. And I would highly suggest that you pick up an FPV drone if you want full and total control. All right, that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed, be sure you hit that like button. If you didn't, I know you are Francis from Drone U. I'm gonna get a tattoo. Fuck you. No, I probably will. I'll still get that tattoo. Anyways, stay original.